Hey everybody, welcome back to Fallen Angels. You guys are the angels, and you've fallen into my channel, and I respect that, and I love you guys for it. And I'm gonna here to do another reaction video. Someone did request for me to tell a story again. Do my Bozo Chronicles or my prison story. My stories. Don't just stick to the reaction videos. And I'll try. I'll try to. I wrote that in the community post that I'll try to remember something that's interesting, either or something with drugs, or something with prostitutes, something where a fight I lost, or something like that. And I'll tell it. I'll tell that story because I did just want to transition to doing this because I do this regularly. It'll help give me more supporters. I'm hoping more views because I'll be doing this on a regular basis, and I watch this type of stuff. I'm mirrored, so the video is that way, but I got to point this way. But I watch this type of stuff, so I figured if it's interesting to me, let me make the videos for you guys. You guys might find this stuff interesting. I put the girls in there. I'm sorry for women. I put it in there for the people who like it, who might get bored or seeing this video, like a TikTok video that I had put on. Take a look at that. If you're not into looking at stuff like that, either block that out or put it out of your mind. Just focus on what I'm reacting, talking about, and the video in the center. And I hope you guys like it. If you do like it, please give me a thumbs up. And it's my fiance. My fiance is my manager, and she helps. She puts this all together. So you can thank her. Thumbs up for that, And subscribe. Throw me some extra subscriptions, or pass me on to some of your friends. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna stop the talking, and I'm gonna start playing the videos right now as we speak.
Huge conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Charlie Kirk thing.
Oh, okay.
That people think they set up Charlie Kirk's microphone to actually cause a blast. That was the reason he died, not coming from a bullet. So remember, Candace Owens did a video.
Yeah.
And then she was saying she never saw an exit wound.
Yeah.
From the shot he was shot in.
Mm-hmm.
But before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys. Phones were being spied on by a blue radio app. Click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately. There was another video and another person that put it through like a vector analysis to see the trajectory of the bullet
smokes.
and see how it would travel, and the way his body moved and the way the wind or the air pressure
Oh my god.
moved his shirt was wrong. Like, it shouldn't have moved like that if he got shot by a bullet. Now, what's really, really scary, in the background, somebody close to him in the front was actually holding a device. What people are now saying is that it was a detonator, that there was something in the mic that was right here, that it shot something this way and it blasted that way.
There is a thing about a guy who used to work in the Navy in the 70s.
That stuff for Charlie Kirk is a sensitive subject. I can't get too deep into it because I don't want to anger this side or that side or any side. You know what I mean? I'm not political. I'm not religious. So I respect all political parties, left and right, and all religions. I have respect for all of it. But I think that was definitely a setup. That other guy did not shoot him with a bullet. It wouldn't get stuck in him. He was assassinated, and I think we all know. I'm not going to say it, but I think we all know who's responsible for it. He may not have obviously done it, but he had it done. Because there's a lot that doesn't look right, and the text that who's that girl that I like? Candace Owens had proof of. Check out some of the stuff Candace Owens, has on it. But I'm gonna move on.
They place an acoustic sensor device all throughout the ocean floor in the certain areas. This was to map the ocean floor, detect submarines, and find other anomalies and stuff. It says one of the contacts while in the Navy who worked on the ASW team who was responsible for monitoring the sensors and everything. They would discuss underwater submersible objects that detected that would travel at thousands of miles per hour underwater.
What are you talking about?
He said they also have detected various structures underwater that are active and that they stay clear of. And so those might be like volcanoes or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
But they're detecting actual anomalies
This came out
underwater.
recently?
This is a report from a guy that worked in the Navy in the 1970s.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was in the 70s? They were tracking this stuff?
When they placed the sensors devices in on the ocean floor.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So,
You know how you get stoked about space?
Yeah.
I get stoked about the ocean.
Those are probably like alien stuff, though.
Yes!
Oh,
They're meeting.
dude, the ocean freaks me out way more.
Okay, break.
That is cool. You know, stuff moving that fast stuff can't move that fast in the water. You shoot a bullet and you're not that far away, you can catch the bullet. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm interested in what that stuff was, but that was a long time ago. So technology is only better. So I wonder what they know is down there nowadays. I wonder what is down there myself nowadays.
Breaking news, Donald Trump is gonna be pissed. The winner of this year's Nobel Peace Prize has just been announced, and it's gone to Maria Machado. And no, that's not how you say Donald Trump in Spanish. Maria is the opposition leader in Venezuela, and she's been praised for fighting for democratic values and rights in the country. And the Norwegian Nobel Committee, they called her a brave and committed champion of peace, since she's actually had to live in hiding over the past year due to threats against her life, but she's never fled the country. Now, Trump has been continuously saying that, he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, but keep in mind that nominations for this year actually closed back in January. That's a couple of weeks after Trump took office. So people are now saying that next year is Trump's year. We'll see. Either way, if Norway gets hit with 100% tariffs tomorrow,
This California man.
Dylan Page is excellent with the news. Very handsome guy. I have no problem saying it myself. So you ladies, watch him, but not just for his looks. He's good. Dylan Page, News Daddy, is good. This guy's good too. Keep pointing the wrong direction, the right direction, but I'm mirrored right now.
Hunted down and killed a pedophile that he found on the sex offender registry. And when the cops showed up
Good.
on the scene to arrest him, he was totally cooperative and said, "It should be cool, man. Everybody hates pedophiles." Based. This dude literally went on the sex offender registry, found the dude with the gnarliest charges against kids that he could find, went to
Good.
the dude's house dressed like an accountant with a knife, busted in the dude's door when the dude answered the door, started stabbing him. The dude ran outside. Dude is chasing him with a knife. The guy literally ran into the neighbor's house trying to escape him. The dude followed him in the house and was stabbing him on their living room floor. Neighbors called the police, and when the police showed up, the dude told them, "It's not your duty to decide whether heaven will accept them. It's your duty to send them to the gates." That he hoped that because the victim was a pedophile, and everybody hates pedophiles, so it should be cool, right? And unfortunately, all of this happened in the state of California, and California loves it some pedophiles, so it most definitely was not cool, and the dude is probably gonna go to prison. All I can say is, free my boy! But what do y'all think? Let me know down in the comments.
I think highly of that man. That is so awesome that he did that. He got the revenge for whatever little kids he did, scarred for life, and go for him, man. That's all I gotta say. I'm clapping for that guy, free that guy.
Remember when I said all the celebrities who are selling out to Israel the hardest are the ones who are absolutely failing in their professional careers? Yeah, well, this is what rapper Azalea Banks looks like during her concerts now. She decided to become a full-time Zionist mouthpiece for God knows how much money. And you know what's funny is that Azalea Banks once slammed the Israelis for being racist and vowed never to return. She said everybody in Israel was very rude and she would not come back unless it was for some real money. So basically an admittance that she's getting paid good money to do this clown shit. This is the cost of selling your soul, everybody. And it makes
Azalea
perfect
Banks.
sense. She definitely needed this cash because her rap career was in the tubes. Everybody in the music industry recognizes that Azalea Banks is talented, but nobody wants to work with her because her personality sucks so bad. People like Lady Gaga have said she's just impossible to work with. She also posted a video of herself once sacrificing live chickens in her closet at home. Yeah, there's just a lot of reasons why people don't like this lady. But Israel's desperate at this point. They'll take any American celebrity they can get, and they'll pay as much money as they need to. Although that money's probably coming from the American government in the first place.
What's that? Oh, many people are having the exact same dream about Mall World, down to pretty much every detail. Oh, really? Well, tell me more. Yeah, people are having this exact same dream about Mall World, where everything's kind of connected to this mall, including like the airport, hospital, all this parking. Everything is connected, and everybody's having the same dream. But what's been strange is when people have these dreams, now they're starting to interact with people, and they're able to ask them who they are and meet up with them in real life. People are saying because this is a collective conscious situation, because we are all a collective consciousness.
I believe
But
that.
now it's getting a little scary because people are having dreams about demons inside of Mall World, and they're trying to lead them to their death in the dream. What? Let's just hope those demons don't lead people to their real deaths in real life.
Clark,
If what he's saying is true, because I like that guy. I like the stuff he posts, but I don't know where he gets his information from. I never deep dived in any of the stuff. This is all for entertainment. Do your own research, but that's cool if that is true.
Gable was undeniably one of old Hollywood's most dashing leading men, but allegedly he also had an intense fixation on cleanliness. According to a Clark Gable biography by Warren G. Harris, the actor was not a fan of being dirty in any capacity. Apparently, while in the military, Gable was so averse to sweating that he shaved the hair from his body, believing that his hairiness contributed to more perspiration. But that wasn't all. Oddly enough, though, Gable didn't like the idea of taking baths, as he felt as though it was like stewing in contaminated water. To remedy this while serving in the army, he toted around his very own portable shower. Other sources also claim that he switched up his sheets daily. However, there was one area of personal hygiene that Gable was surprisingly terrible at maintaining. You see, Gable had a reputation for having the worst smelling breath. His famous co-star Vivian Leigh even made some comments about the intimate scenes that they shared while filming Gone with the Wind. According to her, his dentures smelled something awful.
That during one of his remote viewing sessions,
Bad
that
breath.
species that is on 3i Atlas came to him holographically and told him that their mission is to come here for the star seeds. If you don't know what star seeds are, they're basically chosen ones. They are alien, human hybrids that are gifted, kind of like yours truly. And probably a lot of you watching this video because I made it to your FYP, and that is the universe getting me to you. During his interview, he claims that the species of aliens...
How is it that some celebrities look like a bunch of other people back in history that we've seen? Like, have you guys seen those?
I've definitely seen. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. All these people that, like, over 100, 200 years ago, if you see these pictures, you're like, yo, that looks exactly like them. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying we have to start asking these questions. Like, have you guys seen that movie Dr. Sleep?
Yes.
It's the sequel to The Shining.
I've seen it.
Go check that out. That
Dr.
depicts.
Sleep?
Yes.
I'm gonna check this. Okay.
So,
good book.
Because I know what you're referring to, that those people look for people with that keen ability that they call it, like, let's say the shine.
Shine.
Yeah. And usually it's kids and they eat them.
Right. So they
eating the kids?
No, so here's what they do in the movie. So basically, it's crazy. So they get these kids, right? Movie's fucked up. So they get the kids and they scare the shit out of them to the point to where their adrenaline is so high, then they extract them.
Adrenochrome, it's
So
related
they're
to.
extracting their life force, their adrenochrome. And the adrenochrome, it's even in other movies too. That's why I say I always watch movies with a different lens, because they always put it in the movies. So they extract it, right? And that's life force. And you can see it in the movie where, like, they breathing it in and like they can live forever off it.
It's true. There is a very weird interstellar object traveling through our solar system right now. Interstellar meaning it didn't come from our solar system. It traveled here from somewhere else. And it is the largest and fastest interstellar object ever discovered, although to be fair, it's only the third. Astronomers discovered 3I Atlas on July 1st of this year as it sped through the solar system at over 220,000 kilometers per hour. We don't know exactly how big it is, but Hubble Space Telescope observations put it at less than 5.6 kilometers in diameter. It's a comet. Most comets look like this with a tail, but this comet's really cool because it does have that tail from the sun's radiation blasting it, but it also has a forward-facing tail. This one is kind of caused by the comet itself because these dust grains are too big to be pushed back by the solar radiation alone. So what's happening is the sun's energy is hitting this side of the comet, and it increases activity, and the comet pushes this dust away, causing this front-facing tail. It's also incredibly old. Scientists think this could be older than the entire solar system. And we do know the path it's going to take through the solar system. The sun's gravity is going to fling it around, and it's going to head back out of the solar system and maybe to another star system someday. But it's not coming anywhere near Earth. The closest it's going to get to Earth is about 270 million kilometers away. There's also no evidence that this has anything to do with aliens. In fact, by a paper supported by the SETI Institute, which is the organization whose entire goal is to search for extraterrestrial intelligence, addresses every single claim that it could be aliens, concludes with this. This study shows that the features of 3I Atlas are consistent with a natural origin. This means that Dr. Avi Loeb's idea that 3I Atlas is an alien expedition is not true. We think that 3I Atlas is a lithified clastic fragment from an exoplanetary sedimentary basin because of its size, comet-like features, spectral qualities, and the fact that it came from the thick disk of the Milky Way. The fact that it was found supports this idea. But still, every space agency is looking at this and observing it and trying to get more information and releasing it, except for NASA, who's on a government shutdown. But this is a super cool opportunity to learn about things outside of the solar system and about how these things can transport, like water, through space. And I can guarantee you that we're about to start discovering more and more interstellar objects because we're getting a lot better at detecting them, and every single time people are gonna say it's aliens. And maybe one day
He woke up this.
That girl's right, and SETI's right. You know, and that guy who made that movie about Bob Lazar, I forgot his name at the moment, he was saying months ago that the government's going to make a lie, that there's going to be an alien spaceship, mothership coming our way, moving fast or slow, whatever. It's going to take its time just to build up, you know, fear and let us give up more freedom easily to get more protection. You know, you can see it's not. It's got, there's answers for it. You guys are all right. There is nothing coming that's going to being aliens. They're not coming right now. That is not aliens. The people from SETI are right. That's what they do. They're not NASA. That's what they do, and they're still on it. You know, so believe her. I keep pointing the wrong way. I'm sorry, guys. Believe that girl.
Something mimicking his alarm, but as he turned on the light, he sees this. A man under the user CashEGD explains that while falling asleep in his living room one night from a dark corner, he began to hear what sounded like his phone's alarm going off. Realizing his phone's right next to him and it's not morning, he records the area where the sounds are coming from and sees this. From the corner of the entryway, something that resembles a pale woman's face with long dark hair peeks out, then hides. Whoever this is has to be tall enough to peek through that corner, or be able to crawl on the wall. Now, this could very well be just a couple of guys making a scary skit for a video, but with little context to the clip, we're left to wonder what exactly was captured that night.
Yeah, I also have this theory that biggest...
You gotta watch, too, because I watch a lot of the debunkers, and, you know, like Side-Eye Guy's my favorite. He's hilarious. And there's other people. And I just watched a few yesterday. This one guy, I forgot who his name is. those could be debunked. Almost every single video that just winds up on there can easily be debunked. Most of these people want the videos, the clicks, they want to go viral, they want to be important, because that's how they feel like they're somebody. You know what I mean? I don't care if I get 0 clicks, 0 subscribers, 0 whatevers. You know, I do this for me, for fun, but I would appreciate if I got the subscribers and the views, so I want to monetize. But these people, they vote, they feel good depending on how many clicks they get, because they feel accepted. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to watch those scary things now, because there's always a way to debunk them. I can debunk a lot of them myself now.
Notion about smoking is about health, let's say, but I think it's much deeper than that. I think it's more a mentality question,
Yeah, it's
more
psychology.
about discipline question, because I have this theory that smokers are lazier than non-smokers.
Why?
Because I've just noticed for myself that smokers have some discipline problems.
It's not about discipline, it's about habits.
Not just the habit, because as a non-smoker, let's say, I have noticed that I could work much longer, much better, and without any pauses, let's say. But when someone is just can't work without thinking every like 15 minutes that he's gonna smoke now and then go have a pause. And I think just having a cigarette and then coming back and continuing your work is not gonna be the same.
Yeah, you're losing your focus.
Did you know that 7% of all people who have ever lived are alive today? People in this context have been around for about 200,000 years, most of which wasn't recorded. To figure it out, you need to know all the different places and their life expectancy. Not to mention, nations throughout history didn't or couldn't always record their populations. For the most part, the human population has stayed roughly the same, only growing about 0.04% every year, compared to the whopping 2% of the 1960s. But as we all know, that has been dropping, with only 4% of the world's population being in a country with high fertility. One way to estimate the rate of growth is in segments, where you keep the birth and death rates the same, but change the population in each block based on what happened in the previous block. So this is where people have roughly the same lifespan throughout history and only contribute a smidge to the growth. What's interesting is that regardless of which method you use, or where you start the clock at like 50,000 years ago with 2 people, the total population varies wildly, but the order of magnitude is roughly about the same. Basically, since hygiene and modern medicine, we've been multiplying like rabbits. Not only is roughly 7% of all people who've ever lived alive today, but half the people who've reached 65 years old are alive today. So if you're 65 and you flipped a coin to determine which time period you'd likely be born, half the time it wouldn't be ancient Egypt, it'd be now-ish.
There are 2 massive ships headed towards Earth right now. 2! Now, I'ma just say allegedly. This video I'ma show y'all, this guy is pointing out the 2 ships that are apparently coming towards Earth right now. And with all the 3-eye Atlas talk, y'all remember those talks? This shit makes perfect sense. But y'all can watch the video and draw your own conclusion. I'ma put the dude name down below in the comments. Y'all go check his page out. This shit crazy, fool.
There's 2 ships, one after another, coming in. Big ships.
Watch, y'all.
There's one.
Look at this shit.
Here's the ship right here. Here's one tip of the wing. Here's the other tip of the wing. That's the first one. It's your first ship. Right here.
It's supposed to be asteroids, y'all.
This is your structure.
Look at
There's your
that.
other ship. Perfect symmetry. Meteors will not do this. People, this is a ship. Okay? When are you gonna understand that Mother Nature will never line up meteors like this in a perfect straight line? You're not gonna have this. These have heat signatures. It's not gonna happen. This is a ship, people. This is a massive ship.
Like I said, I'm gonna say allegedly, because other people is saying those are asteroids or meteorites coming in a straight line, flying past Earth. But what Buddy is saying in the video makes perfect sense. Y'all go check out his page. This shit crazy.
Kobe in Colorado, Caitlin Faber, okay, she invites him, and let's go up to your room. That's not her job. Her job is not to go up to Kobe's room. Her job was a host at the Cordelia Hotel that at the time was owned by the Prisker family at the time of Chicago. So she cries rape, okay. And don't get me wrong, if Kobe was guilty, he should have been sent to prison. I have no problem.
She doesn't call the police. She doesn't call the sheriff's department. She doesn't even call home to her parents. She goes to her boyfriend's house and has sex that night, wearing the same dress with Kobe's DNA on it.
You're not gonna have sex after you've been raped.
After you've been right. So someone's lying. Either Kobe's lying, she's lying. So wait a minute. She doesn't call the police. She doesn't call the sheriff's department. She doesn't call the executives of the hood, and she doesn't even call her parents, who are Phi Beta Kappa, good friends with Dr. Richard Stedman, Kobe's knee doctor. Next day, she goes home, and her parents say, "Where have you been?" "I've been raped." "By who?" "Kobe Bryant." Okay, dollar signs now. They arrest Kobe Bryant the following day, Eagle, Colorado. An attorney is given to Kobe by Dr. Jerry Buss, who also gave Kobe this knee doctor, Phi Beta Kappa, Dr. Richard Stedman. The lawyer's name is Pamela Mackey. Pamela Mackey's law firm represents Harvey Weinstein. Pamela Mackey's law firm also represents R. Kelly. Pamela Mackey's law firm is doing the legwork for the Diddy case, even though they don't represent Diddy, but they're doing the legwork as far as the legal background work of what happened, okay, and as to why the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security raided his homes. Okay. So Pamela Mackey is Phi Beta Kappa. So is Kobe's knee doctor, Dr. Richard Stedman, Phi Beta Kappa. So is the parents of Caitlin Faber, Phi Beta Kappa. So Kobe says he's innocent, okay, pays her off, goes back to Los Angeles. All of a sudden he gets tattooed. He becomes a member of the Boule Secret Society.
And he got the crown?
The crown, that's it.
Now this is for entertainment purposes only. But people, it looks like I was wrong. AI stands for Antichrist. Stands for Antichrist. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So there's a new religion that everybody's going to, where you worship artificial intelligence as your God. Oh, you son of a bitch. When I first heard about it, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. This is worse than Terminator 2. It's worse. Because at least in Terminator 2, the robot was trying to kill us. They're praying to the AI as their God. No doubt they're going to be taking the chip. If they've not told the mark of the beast by now, I'm sure they're on the waiting list. So yeah, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, watch out. There's a new God in town.
This is insane. AI-powered self-driving police cars are officially here. Miami just rolled out the first ever autonomous patrol vehicle in the United States, and it doesn't even need a cop behind the wheel. It's called the PUG, short for Police Unmanned Ground Patrol Partner, a Ford Explorer-based robot police cruiser built by Policing Lab and Perron Robotics. This thing can patrol high crime areas, it can scan license plates, it can detect stolen cars, and even launch a drone into the sky, all while feeding real-time data back to command centers. It's packed with thermal imaging, 360-degree cameras, and an AI that can recognize patterns, identify suspicious activity, and alert human officers when backup is needed. Officials call it a force multiplier, designed to enhance officer safety and free deputies from repetitive patrol work so that they can focus on human interaction. Now, for now, it's part of a one-year pilot program in Miami-Dade, where it'll appear at public events as police gather community feedback. Now, some see this as the future of law enforcement, others as a step toward sort of RoboCop territory, but one thing is for sure, Miami's newest recruit doesn't eat donuts, doesn't take breaks, and never blinks. The age of AI policing has officially begun.
These Rock Nation motherfuckers, they are playing a very nasty game. He said people, they've been camping out for 4 days. They're there right now. neighbor's crib. So his old house, the next door joint, their
Candace Owens went scorched earth.
I got cut off. I wonder what he was trying to say, but Jay-Z, he needs to go down. I know he's no good. He's no good. Every thanking Beyonce, even the country people now do. Like, you don't owe nothing to them to move on with your career. They shouldn't have that much power. They're doing something nasty, something wrong. He needs to go down, I think, you know. And I listen to hip hop, so, but Jay needs to go down.
Charlie Kirk died a month ago. And if you call her out or try to be skeptical about what she's saying, you get threatened that I'm going to stop following you and you're in the bag for Israel or you're getting paid $7,000. Well, listen, I'm going to keep on doing what I do. A lot of you who follow me, most of you anyway, followed because you like how I lay things down. I didn't go after Candace Owens personally. I went after what she said. And now I've interviewed Josh Hammer, a guy that she has called subhuman and, I don't know, dirty or something, filthy. And I didn't get why. I had him on a couple of times. We're not great friends, but I had him on today and talked to him about every allegation she makes. It's now up and running on Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags. Go to my bio, click on the link in my bio, and click on Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags. He fires back. She calls him all sorts of names, and I don't know what her deal is with Josh Hammer specifically, but I asked him, did you know about what was going to happen to Charlie before it happened? What was that post about? Why is Candace Owens going after you? Are you guys friends? Were you friends? What happened? Was Charlie and Candace, were they friendly? Or were they friends up until the end? She acts like they were besties. Did he really want her back? Go and check it out. Again, Unshaken and Unafraid with Joe Pags. It's a link in my bio, or if you're seeing this in my story, you can click the link right here. Come on!
All of the money was on the Eagles, right? So what did Vegas have to do? They had to swoop in and do a gigantic rug pull. Just like even in the MLB, I bet a lot of people probably had a parlay of the Phillies and the Eagles, right? Well, you see what happened to the Phillies. That was rigged too. And you see what's happening to the Eagles. This stuff is so laughable. It's not even funny. This is NFL, WWE, WWE, NFL. This is fake and pretend football. So all of you fanboys out there, you really need to wake up and realize exactly what's going on, because all of these sports leagues are scripted and fake. Vegas runs the show. Point blank, period.
So now we...
Yeah, you guys got to understand that. I don't follow sports no more. I did when I was a kid, but they are all scripted. Like, plenty of sports people, some retired and stuff like that, have even spoken upon how they've gotten told what's going to happen, what they're going to do. They're going to get hurt. They're going to make it. They're going to win the NFL, the Super Bowl or World Series, whatever the case may be. And these gloves, you could do the one-handed catches because they got magnets on them and on the ball, and even magnets on, with the basketball. It's all set up. It is like WWE. It's all scripted. So, I mean, they play, but it is scripted still.
Really know the reason why the government and all these governmental entities like NASA, the IRS, and then 34,000 people getting fired or furloughed from the IRS is happening right now, y'all, in conjunction with 3i Atlas. So this guy was on live last night and he tried to post a video how there's a giant mothership with a whole bunch of fleet of other UFO extraterrestrial ships coming towards us. He tried to post a video about it, but they silenced him, y'all. Something is happening within our skies and space and within the confines of space, and they're not letting him speak about it. But check this out.
Guys, I just went to record a video on TikTok and tell you that this was a giant fleet of ships coming in, and they blocked the sound on TikTok. They legitimately blocked the sound. This is a giant fleet of motherships coming in. It's been going on since 12:20 UTC time. It's now 1:21 UTC time. This is insane. This is a huge fleet of ships. Look at the structure. That structure from a ship. This is a huge ship. TikTok blocked the sound.
So could we really be seeing some 7-foot tall African American extraterrestrial next month, y'all? I don't know, but everything taking place right now, there is no coincidence about it. But nonetheless, there's a lot of things happening in the sky, in the water, because remember they told us that space is water. Let me know down in the comments below, y'all, what you think about this. The shift is here. We've been telling y'all.
How many chefs do you think were wrongfully executed in the medieval times because their king's food tester had a food allergy?
Well, hey there, my friends. I was actually tagging that previous video quite a bit, and it does bring up a very fascinating question. What would happen to the poison tester of, the king, or the chef for that matter, if, the king suddenly died because he had a nut allergy, or a dairy allergy, or something that killed him? Well, you're not gonna like this answer, but it didn't really happen. Like, the primary example that one could probably give is Richard III of England, who reportedly was allergic to strawberries, and after eating the strawberries of one of his members of court, had a reaction, and then panicked and had him executed on the spot. Though apparently, according to the story, the entire thing was deliberate, as Richard III knew already he was allergic to strawberries, so he framed the guy just to have him executed. So the question then becomes, okay, why did it not really happen that much in history? Short answer is because people would already have been dead. The majority of allergies seem to become more common within the last 1 to 200 years. Prior to that, the mortality rate of people was so incredibly high, and their exposure to so many diseases so high, that children would oftentimes die at much younger ages from pretty much anything, which means that allergies did not propagate among nearly as many people back in the day. Though mind you, when I say this is only one of the theories as to why allergies are more common today, with people surviving more, versus back in the day when people just...
All they have to do in this country is figure out how to kill a large number of people, and pretty quickly. That's all they have to do. They got to figure out a way how to eliminate about 1/3 of this population pretty quickly. Maybe half. And then things ain't so bad. You get an AI governor, couple of AI movies. You just got to figure out how to eliminate half the population because the jobs aren't going to be there. So you just got to kill all those people, which is going to require a period of not nice things. And then once that's done, then you go, all right, let's build back better. As Joey B would say, Joe Biden. But you just got to get rid of a bunch of, that's all. It's not that big of a deal once you've eliminated half the population. Once you've eliminated half to 3/4 of the population on planet Earth, all of this gets a lot more.
Jewish elevators are real and nobody's talking about them. Jewish elevators are predominantly found in Jewish communities, Jewish neighborhoods, Jewish apartment complexes, where a large percentage of Jewish people actually live. These Jewish elevators, they function a particular way, especially on Saturday during Shabbat, when Jewish people usually take the day off. Jewish elevators are actually primarily called Shabbat elevators, and they have a very specific function, usually when people use them. People that are not Jewish typically don't use them because to them, they're not as advanced. But practically speaking, they are technically more advanced. And they're more advanced in a very specific way. There's a lot of mystery behind these elevators. I tried to look up the source of who actually invented them, but I couldn't find it. How these Shabbat elevators essentially function is you don't need to press them, and they stop at every single floor so that really observant Jewish people don't have to press the buttons and do any sort of work or activate any sort of electricity that they try to avoid on Shabbat.
We often say that when the person...
They also in New York got their own ambulance, so New Yorkers know about that.
knows something well, they know it by heart. The Latin word for heart is cor, as in coronary, which is why to remember something by heart is to record it. The famous Greek philosopher Plato wasn't actually named Plato. His real name is Aristocles. He was given the name Plato by his wrestling coach because he had really broad shoulders and a broad chest. The Greek word meaning broad or flat is platus, which is why a flat surface for eating is called a plate, a flat raised landform is called a plateau, and the flat-footed, flat-tailed animal found in Australia is called the platypus.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You really are a whole ass drunken master. Cause people swear what you do is easy and they can do it with no effort. And you're not even that good until they go and try what you did. Then they see how talented you are, how much skill it takes to pull off what you do. And the only reason why they thought they could do it is because you make it look easy to the point where it's bad. You make it look easy to the point where anyone thinks they can do it until it's time to try that shit. And they get a reality check every time. And the craziest part about this shit is, motherfuckers still won't give you your props, even after realizing what you done was actually hard as fuck. Because giving you props would only make themselves look bad because they exist within their ego and have this high standard of who they think they are. And a motherfucker like you just shattered that entire standard. You showed them that they're not that good. You showed them that even on your worst day, you will outshine their best, most perfect performance because you're existing within the flow of your soul and not the control of your ego. And that's what separates y'all. That's what makes you the drunken master, because the soul has no form and it flows like water, while the ego wants to control everything and exists within this strict set of rules to make themselves seem perfect.
The guy you know from crashing out when he was trying to sell sneakers on a live stream was just arrested by the authorities for having over $500,000 of stolen Nike merchandise. Adil Shams, the guy who co-owns Cool Kicks, one of the country's biggest resale shops, was just busted by the LAPD for having over 2,100 pairs of Nike shoes and 150 boxes of allegedly stolen Nike apparel. Adil was taken into custody by LAPD on suspicion of receiving stolen property. He's since been released, but is expected back in court at the end of October. Cool Kicks, the company, responded on social media saying they are in complete shock and had no idea the sneakers were stolen, claiming the shoes were purchased in good faith just 48 hours before the raid. And in this video right here, you can see it was a full-on raid. Tactical police, full of officials. You would think that there was something massive going on here, and there was. $500,000 of stolen goods. Now, the company said that none of these shoes were counterfeit, meaning they weren't selling fakes. They were just selling allegedly stolen shoes. And the fact that Cool Kicks is famous around LA for working with celebrities, doing massive TikToks and live streams, makes it look even worse for the reselling community.
Scientists at MIT have developed a revolutionary and fully natural solution to remove harmful forever chemicals from water, and as they say, this could have a major impact on the health and safety of human beings in the future. In case you're unfamiliar with forever chemicals, they're PFAS, polyfluoroalkyl substances, that are in a lot of water-resistant clothing, paints, most importantly, non-stick cookware, fast food packaging, popcorn bags, pesticides, tons and tons of things. And unfortunately, these chemicals don't break down very quickly, and they also get easily absorbed into our surface water, into our groundwater, into the soil, into various fish, and it ends up, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, 98% of Americans had PFAS in their bloodstream. And this is bad because it causes a whole host of health problems: thyroid, cholesterol, liver, kidney, lower birth weight, obesity, all sorts of bad things. These are just not things that you want in your body. But scientists have invented this tiny little filter right here that does a fantastic job at removing these chemicals. So what's really cool about this is that it's entirely organic or natural because it's made of silk in uniform nanocrystals and combining them with cellulose, which makes a uniquely well-suited filter to remove these chemicals. And on top of removing the PFAS, this all...
Are you familiar with the term dead man switch?
No, I'm not. Go ahead, break it down.
So a dead man switch...
Message, y'all pay attention now.
A dead man switch is something that you have set up to keep you alive in case there's a threat against your life. So if something happens to you when you get killed and you not there at that computer to type in this password to make sure this information don't get released, that's the dead man switch. Now, we've seen multiple attempts on this man's life, and an incentive to keep them from making more attempts on his life. This information has to come out, because if the policymakers congressional members who don't have the high enough security clearance to get this information, if the voting population finds out that deep state governmental operatives have been killing people in our country, that's going to help keep him safe as well, because now word is out. You know, you got to understand something, in the political aspect of things, in that landscape, these people aren't just doing things for themselves. They're doing things for themselves, their family, and for future people who go come in through the same policies they create. Elon Musk was giving the man Donald Trump $45 million a week for his campaign. And he had an app set up so he knew who the winner of the campaign was 5 hours ahead of time.
That's crazy.
See, when you got people like that on your staff, imagine what else he done found out. You know, you got the guy Gary McKinnon. This is a guy who had a basic Windows $200 laptop. He was able to hack into NASA computers, get information, release it, and the government fought to get him extradited from the United Kingdom for almost 10 years. He had a gag order where he couldn't speak publicly for 10 years. Now that that's over. So imagine a person like Elon with the facilities and resources that he has. Imagine what he could find out and what he found out. Trump.
So whatever happened to Girls Gone Wild? Girls Gone Wild, where do I even begin? So what happened? Girls Gone Wild was founded in 2001 by a man named Joe Francis. And the entire concept of the video series was to go to spring break hotspots, find young women that were heavily intoxicated, and then get them to flash the camera in exchange for free things. The series ended up gaining a ton of popularity, selling more than 4 million copies across over 80 different titles. But the success was short-lived because, as you can imagine, filming people whenever they're heavily intoxicated is a very slippery slope, and pretty soon after Girls Gone Wild launched, they were hit with a ton of different lawsuits. Like what? From filming without consent, sexual misconduct, and a lot worse as well. Ooh, yikes. So what ended up happening? Well, the novelty of Girls Gone Wild eventually wore off, sales declined, and in 2013, Girls Gone Wild ended up filing for bankruptcy, really due to the fact that they were hit with so many lawsuits. Where is Girls Gone Wild today? Well, weirdly enough, Joe Francis was actually arrested in 2021 for spitting in a woman's face after he tested positive for COVID-19. And as for Girls Gone Wild, as well as Joe Francis, well, there recently was a documentary series released on them, and there's some pretty disturbing allegations. Make sure to follow for more, comment on which company, brand, or product I should do next, and for longer content, check out my YouTube channel. The link is...
Note, this is not just Billie Eilish at her Miami concert, but it shows her haunting last moments, and the next time she does another show, her life will be taken from her. People were terrified after her Miami concert showed just how far fans are going to try to not only target Billie, but make sure she never breathes again. And this might be the last concert we see from her. Haunting videos show fans at the concert targeting a man who attempted to assault Billie as she was coming down the aisle, pulling her into the crowd by her stomach and hair. And if she was pushed into that crowd for just a few more seconds, experts warned that she could have lost everything. Many people now not only begging for the fan who did this to be arrested, but hopes Billie does not continue to do more shows in this condition. Fortunately, the security did kick in the moment this happened, and even other fans attempted to confront the person who did this to Billie.
During a concert, Billie Eilish was very forcefully pulled into the crowd by this guy. After this happened, security pushed the guy off of Billie, but Red Bandana Girl was not done with him. There's a video of her further dealing with the guy to the point where security literally had to pull her off.
This, we're being told, is a video of an invisibility cloak. One of several videos just like this that I found online, Boochkies.
He had spots that he buried cash across the United States.
We would get a hotel and he would just disappear for hours, sometimes a day or so. And it was later that he told me that he was actually going out to these remote areas and digging up whatever caches he had of emergency money or supplies or whatever it was that he needed. So I didn't get to actually see him doing any of that, but he just would disappear for long periods of time. Yeah.
Did he allude at all to you, like when he did this and why he did this?
No, but he did a lot of off-roading. That was kind of his thing. He liked to do off-roading when he was living in New Mexico. So before he left the States, this is what he did. Wow. And I'm assuming that would have been when the time was that he would have been burying these things, whatever it was. Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The majority of my footage at many of these places is the only footage that exists of these sites. Initially, I surveyed things on Google Earth, so this is something anybody can do. I got very good at it, using Google Earth to identify what I thought were ancient structures. And these were places on Google Earth that didn't have any place markers, no labels or anything like that, just sitting in the vast openness. I marked all these places on my map, and last year, in 23 days, I drove up and down the coast of Peru. It was over 3,000 kilometers, hiking for hours, literally scaling mountains to go to some of these places. What resulted in this was I went to over 90 sites, and I can legitimately say that the majority of my footage at many of these places is the only footage that exists of these sites. That became my goal. Let's capture as many of these places as possible.
Before that,
Jamie Foxx walks in the room and he says, "Hey, all girls, if you don't have a penis, walk out of the room." And he's like, starts singing with the piano and shit. You got Ray J running there with his shirt off and shit. You got Floyd Mayweather in there popping his booty and shit on the top of the piano. I'm like, God damn, this is a freak.
Meanwhile, at Destination, I know you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but fuck this guy. He tried to buy a baby. And now he's dead. This isn't the first attempt that they tried to get him. I'm not passing judgment. You finally got there, baby. Good job. Who did it? Who in that prison did it? I want to add to their commissary fund. They have that? Nonetheless, standing on the rooftop, everybody scream, "This fuck is dead." Look, I'm not trying to be that guy. The guy who's all like, "Oh, good, people are dead." Because death is terrible. Except sometimes, sometimes it's really good. Like when it comes to the guy who tried to buy a baby. So boys, girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, raise your glass tonight. Raise a glass and say, hallelujah, the kitty diddler is fucking gone. He has ceased to be. Violently shuffled off the mortal coil. There is in fact a special place in hell for people like him, and God, he's not having a good day ever again.
Cancer was not common until 1874. In fact, the medical school that I went to, and the guy's name on the building is called Alton Oshner. I'm going to tell you a story that he told me my first year in medical school. It was the old man that owned the hospital. He said he used to tell the medical students in the 1920s when they saw a case of lung cancer to come in and see it, because you're likely never going to see another case of this in your life. I want you to think about that for a minute, Luke. So here's the thing. I told you the first bulb ever made, and when the power grid was built out, was between 1879 and the 1920s. The reason why cancer wasn't common, because we didn't have the stimulus that caused it. And guess what? Today, in 1900, colon cancer was the 37th leading cause of cancer in the United States. 5 generations later, it's number 2. How'd that shit happen? Well, guess what? Where's your
no pun intended.
Right. Well, your colon. Think about where your colon is. Your colon is inside your gut. How many people do you think who get colon cancer let infrared A light go right through their belly? Remember, infrared A light penetrates 10 to 30 centimeters. Okay? Everybody wants to blame it on the food, but I'm not that dude. Okay? I'm going to blame it on the light that you allow in your environment. And I'm going to explain to you exactly the reason why it happens. Because let me tell you something. When you go from 37th to 2nd in 5 generations, that takes Darwin and the nuclear genome right out of it. Changes don't happen that fast to nuclear DNA. And guess what? What are we studying? We're studying the nuclear DNA to look for the cause of colon cancer. Epic freaking failure. Why? It's a mitochondrial disease. And mitochondria all respond to incident EMF. And the type of EMF they respond best to, 250 to 780. don't forget.
Today's case is one of the more disturbing ones that I have covered lately. In the middle of the night in June of 2019, 23-year-old Mackenzie Lueck hopped off a plane in Salt Lake City and texted her mom to let her know that she had landed safely. But what Mackenzie did next took everyone who knew her by surprise, because just hours after getting off of that plane, Mackenzie was on the move again. See, around 3 a.m., she was now stepping out of a Lyft rideshare car and stepping into a pitch-black park in the middle of the night. She was doing that to meet with somebody that she had been talking to online. His name was Ayula Unjayi. After picking Mackenzie up from Hatch Park, the two of them went back to his house as planned. But once they were inside, things took a very dark and terrifying turn. Ayula tied Mackenzie's hands behind her back with those zip ties, and he began choking her with his bare hands. Allegedly, she tried telling him to stop, but he didn't. Instead, Ayula forced Mackenzie onto her stomach, and he used a belt to strangle her until she stopped moving. That was it. That was how quickly this all unfolded. Now, the act itself was brutal, but what's even more disturbing is just how deliberate it was. There was no hesitation, no panic, just cold, calculated murder. A young life just taken out in a matter of seconds. And after he killed her, he already had a full cover story in the works. He disabled his own security cameras, he bound her, he burned her in his own backyard. So on October 23rd, 2020, Ayula was officially sentenced for the murder of Mackenzie. And there he stood right before the judge, just very emotionless as his sentence was read. Life in prison without the possibility of parole.
What happened in 1913 is the bankers took control of monetary policy. What they're trying to do now is take control of fiscal policy. Once they get control of fiscal policy, it's going to be much harder to reverse it.
Can you, I'm going to ask a series of really dumb questions.
Okay.
I hope you'll indulge me. What's the difference?
Taxation without representation.
But between fiscal and monetary policies?
Okay, monetary policy is I control the process by which currency is issued, including through credit.
Yeah,
So I generally govern and control credit issuance.
Yes.
And from that, the currency, the creation and management of the currency. Fiscal policy is when I control the taxes and the borrowing of the U.S. government. Now, because the central bank basically operates the borrowing, it's the borrowing is shared. But this comes down as this is the Boston Tea Party moment. Can they tax without representation? So I'll give you a little story. During the Biden administration, Biden nominated somebody for control of currency who was ultimately not approved. The Republicans in the Senate killed the nomination. Before she was nominated, 3 weeks before, she wrote an article in the Vanderbilt Law Review that said the great thing about central bank digital currency, in other words, an all digital currency system, is you have the perfect tool to deal with inflation. If inflation gets out of hand, you just freeze everybody's bank accounts.
Nice.
Right.
If you think Cleopatra was bit by a snake, have I got news for you. She was the queen of Egypt and highly intelligent. She knew Rome was in the business of conquering and enslaving people, so she seduced Julius Caesar so that she wouldn't have to fear a Roman attack. So when Caesar got stabbed to death by like 40 dudes all at once, she seduced one of his top generals, Mark Antony. That pissed off the new ruler of Rome, Octavian, because Mark Antony was already married to his sister. So he attacked Egypt. Cleopatra knew that the Romans would put her in shackles and parade her through the streets like a slave. Textbooks say she had a snake bite her to avoid being tortured, but death by snake bite is torture. It's slow and agonizing. Cleopatra knew that. She'd been studying poisons for years. She literally experimented on prisoners to see which poisons killed slow and which ones killed fast. So when she decided she needed a quick exit, she drank a cocktail of hemlock and opium. The opium knocked her out, and the hemlock shut down her organs. It was quick and painless. Get Human History on Drugs today for more fascinating true stories.
Mark Sanchez is absolutely fucked. His career and his life are ruined. The news broke over the weekend that Mark Sanchez was nearly stabbed to death in Indianapolis. Mere minutes go by and you come to find out that he's in the hospital in stable condition, getting arrested. He's getting hit with the charges of assault and battery, unlawful entry of a motor vehicle, and public intoxication. The victim was in a box truck, like a big truck. So Mark Sanchez is getting into the front seat of a big truck. It's hard to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought this Toyota Camry was my Uber, not that one. That's a mistake anybody can make. So he was so shit-faced, he ran down an alley, tries to get into this truck. The driver, I'm sure, says, get the fuck out. They have an argument. You know who I am. I'm Mark Sanchez, whatever. They fight. This guy pokes him. That's bad enough as is. That story, like, you're already in trouble. Then the details and the pictures come out, and the pictures of this guy, 69-year-old man, are bad. He's in a neck brace that's like soaked in blood. Got a huge gash in his cheek that apparently went into his mouth, into his tongue, to the point that he had trouble speaking. And he's this old man. He's almost 70 years old. And I hate to say it because it shouldn't matter, but in this culture, things always get bad for you when pictures and videos come out. You hear a story, you read a headline, people say that's bad, and they condemn it, and then you see it in action, and you are... That's it for Mark Sanchez. Forget about like his job and his public perception. Dude's getting hit with felony charges. Like, Mark Sanchez might go to jail. And if he doesn't, it's like your career is done.
There's a huge conspiracy. It's
Wow. But I hope you liked this video. I'm going to do plenty more. I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to be consistent for you guys. And as soon as I can remember an interesting enough story, I'll stop this for the day, and I'll do a story time, Bozo Chronicle, or Crack Tales, Crack Files, or something, Prostitute, something. Fight I Lost. I just gotta think, because I don't lie just to make a story. All my stories are true, and obvious, because I only tell the stories where I'm the bozo. Like, I wanted to lie, I would have fucked every girl, got all the hottest girls, won all the fights. That's not the case. But I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I enjoy making my videos for you. If you did get this far, like it. It takes 2 seconds. Subscribe. And I definitely will see you guys again. Hope you guys have a good night.